Welcome to STRATA Originals podcast. My name is Alan McLaren with my co-host Leanne Vaccaro. We're really excited to talk to Justin Breen and Trish Damon today. This is going to be a little bit of a different broadcast. Two remarkable guests are hopefully going to enlighten us with their perspective and wisdom. The theme of this discussion can be summarized in the opening line of Justin's book. It's a love letter to those seeking your true soul and your truest purpose. Trish is a leader in the fields of psychedelic healing, integrative wellness, spiritual psychology, functional medicine, and shamanism. And Justin is connecting visionaries to serve humanity. He's a Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestselling author. But most importantly, he partners with the 0.01% because they create the technologies, companies, and systems that benefit the other 99.9%. If you have an open mind and an open heart, sit back and listen and be ready to grow. Welcome to our podcast, Justin and Trish.
Hi. Thank you. Great to be here.
Can you start out by telling us, how did this team come together? Let's start there.
I'm going to let Justin take that.
You and Trish, how did you come together?
Well, the cosmos orchestrated it.
I mean, yeah, there's no logic. After a while, logic just goes out the window. I guess I'll start it this way. I'm a manifester, and then so kind of like the fire starter, the spark, and then have to be around geniuses like Trisha who can bridge that to the world. But the first message I ever sent to Trish was, "What's your life path number?" So sometimes occasionally I'll send that, and then she wrote back. It was something like she wanted to figure out what that meant, and then she happens to be a 33, which is a master number like I am, it's very rare. Most folks are 1 through 9, and I'm an 11. She's a 33. So essentially that means, at least hopefully, we're in our last incarnations on this planet. We've learned enough lessons. But I would, in human terms, we immediately bonded. And then how this company actually started, how this retreat collaboration, transformational retreat centers actually happened is we were talking fairly recently, and I'm like, with our combined energy, we'll basically be unstoppable. We need to start something together. And then Trish is like, "Oh, well, I've wanted to do this retreat thing." I'm like, "Well, what's stopping you from doing that? Let's just do that." And she's like, "Okay." So that was, how long ago was that, Trish? 2 weeks ago? I don't know. 3 weeks ago. And now Trish is in Mexico scouting our first location, and we'll have more dates soon.
Yeah.
That's exciting. And Trish, any perspectives other than the cosmos on how you guys come together?
Well, I think that I definitely I am just a passenger to the universe's orchestration. And so I think, one of the things, and what people say about me is I'm a yes girl. When I feel it and I see it, it doesn't take long to really act on it. And so I believe in the divine orchestration of life. And so I think it brought us together, and now the opportunity to serve humanity in a really powerful way. I've been, as I said, as you said, in the psychedelic space hosting retreats, but I think the combined forces is pretty powerful.
Leanne, is it just me, or do you have goosebumps as well?
Thank you for saying that.
Leanne, over
from the moment Justin said, I wanted to know what her life path number was. I've had goosebumps.
You had me at hello, as they say, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Go ahead, Leanne.
Leanne, what's your life path number? What is it?
8.
Great. You're good at making money, grounded. Good job by you. Awesome. Great. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, so I stray. So I think there's a little bit of stray in there, but yeah, I mean, and I'm also a Taurus, which makes me stubborn, but
great.
Yeah, that's
makes me stubborn in my convictions. Makes me stubborn in my convictions and what I believe.
Great.
Yeah. I don't know what my whole number was, because Trish, you were a 33, you said?
Yeah.
So you don't break down that whole number then into a 6.
Well, she's a 6'33" and I'm a 2'11". Sorry for answering for Trish, but yeah, Trish and I are I've become an expert in this. I didn't know anything about this 6 months ago, but essentially, for master numbers, the first half of our lives were essentially one person, and then the second half of life, like around 40, 45, we evolve into a different person. Most master numbers actually can't handle the pressure. They disappear into the abyss. Trish and I are the opposite of that. We're just all in, and it's all about amalgamating those two things. Yeah.
Yeah. Because Alan and I were just talking about this yesterday. When we were talking,
Yeah.
11 showed up on the.
Yeah,
I see 11.
Yeah, that's my screensaver. Yeah, that's my screensaver.
Yeah.
Of course.
As far as
And since I'm on a journey, as soon as I hung up the phone, I looked at my pocket. I had pocket dialed my father, who passed away 12 years ago.
Of course.
So I kind of look and going, okay, this triangulation freaking me out a little bit.
Well, because most people can't handle it.
When you have us coming into your field, it all starts happening. Share with me a little bit, Ellen, about the journey you've been on, if you will.
Good job, Trish.
Oh, we're going to reverse the podcast.
Good job, Trish. No, you have no idea the power.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I'm on the journey. Leanne and I have been business partners for 25 years. And so Leanne's always been much more in tune, if you will, with the stuff you're talking about. And I have been a struggling passenger along that, to be perfectly honest. Where I think I connect with all of you is that I lead with love, and I've always led with love. And so that if I look at that as the path, then I'm there. But there's the other parts that I need to learn and grow. So my curiosity is at high peak, but my understanding is still, I'm still on the journey to understand and accept the things that you're talking about in a deep way. Leanne, would that be a fair way to assess that?
Yeah, and maybe acknowledge the places that you might be stuck.
Yeah.
Very open to, like acknowledging. I always acknowledge 11 all the time. And I said to him, it's 11. He goes, yeah, it's 11. When I looked up, because he has the seconds on his thing. I don't go there. But he said to him, yeah, we'll see. I said, no, not we'll see. You just open, like not we'll see.
Yeah.
They don't have to
Not
prove
to hijack your podcast, Alan. I'm just curious.
Here's my screensaver.
I know.
Can you see this? Can you see that? That's my screen. So I drew that. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I love it.
You know, a lot of people don't lead with love organically. They have to come to know that. So was there an inciting incident that happened for you that really had you like present to the world with this loving essence?
What podcast is this, Trish? I just want to know where we are here. What's happening?
Totally takes it over.
I didn't.
You prepared for this.
I will tell you the gift. I've talked about this often with some people close to me. I had that gift given to me by my mother. Where my mother was a grade 4 graduate, school. She never went past grade 4. She brought up 3 boys. My father was away 5 days a week for 25 years. But the one thing she gave me, and that was just this openness, that vulnerability, is love hard, love beautifully, love openly. And I've been able to carry that through my whole life because it's so easy.
Yeah.
For me, it's just so easy to love. So that's why I think I'm part of the way there, but I think Leanne's perfectly accurate that I still have some learning to do and some acceptance to do. So.
And I think that of all the outside yourself, I think more the way, and you had spoken to these parts that are separated in yourself that you're exploring. And I look at that less as an external yourself. Oh no.
You can hear. Just turn off your camera, Trish.
I'm back.
Yeah, turn off your camera.
Back.
Thank you.
It mostly freezes.
I'll turn it off.
It mostly freezes when you move around a lot.
Okay.
So, I don't know if that has anything to do with
super still.
No, it's true. From the time we first met, that's how you've always been.
Yeah.
I fry electronics because of my energy. It's a true
Oh,
story.
Oh, I believe that.
So it's actually I'm the conduit to electronics going sideways.
okay.
Yeah.
Leanne, let's
Yes.
get this podcast back on where we were
Good
hoping
luck
it
with
was
that.
go.
So
Good
you
luck.
know, Trish, I have the same problem
Okay, good.
always in technology, always.
Yeah.
So we deal with a lot of leaders that, you know, a lot of entrepreneurs and leaders that kind of are using their best coping skills to get by. And from our
Coping
experience,
means to fight, by the way. Coping means to fight.
I know. No, they do, because they're always asking the question, two things. What is my purpose?
Yep.
And is this all there is? Right?
Well, I love the saying, everything standing in the way of a good entrepreneur is his childhood.
Right.
You know, and so if you don't go back and actually look at what happened in early adolescent years and heal those childhood wounds, and they can be nuanced, it's small t and big T traumas, right?
Yeah.
But until we're willing to go back and look at that, I firmly believe that is the key to unlocking your future and to become unstuck.
So I have a question on that, because do you think that people need to sit in their truth with the trauma, or do you think they actually have to go back and heal it?
Good question.
Well, I think those are two, I think I need to separate that a little bit. So one, it's not about going back and because in my case, I had disassociated from so when those memories came back, it was like, no, 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 I don't want to look at this. And that's what most people do. They really don't want to look at what happened. But
Right.
I believe that you have to go back and get to the root of that trauma, extract it and heal it. And it's not a matter of really staying there in the early childhood experiences. And
Can
I
I
think a
answer
lot
that
of
real? Is it?
like,
Go ahead.
go ahead, Justin. I think a lot of people say, well, I really had an idyllic childhood. Nothing really happened. Yeah. Things happened. The nuance happened. And I can give some examples, but go ahead, Justin.
Oh man, this our energy, Trish. So Trish and I've never met in person, but that doesn't matter. But it's just fun to it's fun to see it in this format. That's why I'm really excited about what we're doing, because it just it's like infectious in a good way, the energy.
Yeah.
But I was running this morning, and it dovetails your question, Leanne. I think a pretty good framework for this is trauma, karma, dharma. So trauma, karma, dharma, trauma, karma, dharma, trauma. So the trauma leads to this karma or these karmic relationships or karmic patterns, and then that creates the dharma or purpose. But it's understanding the original core trauma, which created the karma, and then that actually creates the dharma, the purpose. If that's helpful.
Interesting.
So do you think that acknowledging it, sitting in it, and in some ways healing it, even acknowledging it, so sitting in your truth, allows you to just leave it there in the past, thereby kind of switching your what might be your purpose?
Well, I think the way that I look at it is going back into these childhood experiences and understanding the maladaptive coping strategies that you adopted along the way to survive. That's where the healing happens. And once you bring awareness around what happened, whether you have emotional, physical, sexual abuse, until you go back and say, wow, because this violation happened to me, I have been avoidant my entire life because intimacy was unsafe, right?
Yeah.
And so when you go back and you can really unpack it and realize all the ways that you're showing up in the world, then all of a sudden we have a chance of really transmuting these behaviors of, addiction, working, sex, drugs, whatever your vice is, right? And then all of a sudden we can show up in a more holistic, present way. But it's not really about, I think there's a little nuance in your languaging, Leanne, of it's not about staying there. It's about having the awareness and honoring the truth of what happened, and
Yeah.
then most certainly coming out of that experience. I think a lot of people get addicted to healing as well.
Yeah, I agree with
Interesting.
that. Yeah.
Can we unpack for a moment? It was fascinating when you said you talked about people not even knowing they had trauma.
Mm.
Can you unpack that a little bit? Because idyllic childhood, I hear that a lot,
Yeah.
and yet we're all impacted by stuff happened before. We just don't know what it is. Can you share
Yeah.
a little more about that?
So, absolutely. I mean, in my case, and I absolutely happy to share as much about my personal story as you'd like to know, but I had lived this very affluent, abundant life. I told everyone I had an idyllic childhood. I'm the baby of 9 children. I was raised Mormon. I left the church when I was 16 and had a beautiful life until I had a confluence of events in my life that dropped me to my knees. And all of a sudden, I started having flashbacks of early childhood memories that I had completely disassociated from. So, the brain's neurological coping strategy when you experience something really traumatic is to completely block out those memories as survival tool. So in the psychedelic world, I would say the majority of people that I work with unearth they have not fully processed.
Hmm, interesting. Justin,
The
did
there's
you?
a well yeah so that here for the audience who can see this, so this is Carl Jung's the great Carl Jung, it's his memoir. He finished it right before he died, but there's a good quote from him that that backs up what Trish is saying. Although, oh, Trish, I'm calling you Noelle now. That's your, I'm calling you Noelle.
Oh, geez. I've got
Right, yeah, okay, good. Yeah,
Kristen,
that's
okay.
your new name.
Kristen.
So the quote is, wherever there is a reaching down into innermost experience, into the nucleus of personality, most people are overcome by fright and many run away. So, Trish and I do this differently, but collaboratively. Like, I'm just like, and I'll just, manifester just right into it, like full force, glitch people in the best of ways. Those that are ready for it, oh, they'll really evolve for it. And then you can hear it and really feel it, goosebumps from Trish. She has this super warm, loving, kind, pure healer. 33s are the ultimate healers. They just are. This energy to like unpack it in this calm, loving way, and then also, as importantly, actually tactically do it with science or medicine. So like that's why, and then I'll just go in there. 11s are the most psychic, most spiritual, like just see biggest visionaries. They just are. Carl Jung called us wounded healers. So we'll go through the trauma as well, and then we'll heal the world. But that's why it's such a dynamic team, is that, and then she softens me. Does that make she
Yep.
calms me down? And then I kickstarted her to actually achieving her purpose. So Trish heals everybody. Like anyone who comes in contact with her, she heals everybody. But in this way, like I helped heal her to find her inner core to start. Like this is to me, I'm guessing you'd agree, Trish, Noelle, like that this is your truest purpose at the highest level. So that's really my gift for
Yeah.
certain types of people.
I mean, it's interesting. I just recently finished writing my memoir, and I have a 3-part docuseries coming out about healing. For me, it was religious and abuse, really deep, deep abuse within the church. And so many, as I was writing with my ghostwriter, he said, "Do you ever wish that you didn't go through all of this?" I'm like,
What?
absolutely not. This is my purpose.
What the
I
hell are
am
you
so
talking about?
grateful for every twist and turn. And it's made me who I am today, and it's given me a really strong advantage as a gifted healer to kind of be
Mm,
able to see people's um they're stuck, to your point, Leanne.
Mm.
Interesting. So you both use the word gift. And as you both know, we're in the
Mm.
personal branding business, and I know business is stress, so I know. But
Anxiety.
let me see if I can define it a little better
Thanks.
and tie it to the words
You're
that
the brander, so brand it better. That's your job now.
personal branding.
Yeah.
But we have a saying in our business, and it's not about ego, it's about discovering your uniqueness and sharing it in the service of others.
Mm.
When I read an excerpt from your book, Justin, it said, it's all our responsibilities to share our gifts with the world. True gifts should not be kept secret, even if it's not natural for us to share those secret gifts. You're both sharing your gifts. How do we get others to share their gifts? Because that frustrates us when we see talent wasted, not sharing the best of them. How do we get people there?
Do you
It's
want to
up to
go
them.
first, Justin?
Yeah, I'm not trying to fix anyone. I mean, it's up to them. Um, and I don't take any credit for any of this. This is from a higher, like we were given a gift, and then so I was given this gift from a higher power, whatever you want to call it, and then I'm just using it, and then I'm here to make people aware of their gifts, and if they want to do something with that, it's up to them. I'm not trying to fix anyone at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, the greatest way to get others to live in their highest potential
Mhm.
or their divine blueprint in this world is that until they can get to a place of alignment and
Mm,
authenticity inside of them, they
right.
will never fully achieve it or
Of course.
self-actualize.
Right.
And so the way that I do it is kind of like we've got to get to the core of these limiting beliefs and we've got to understand where these limiting beliefs came from. And once you can kind of extract those from the psyche and align them with their true self, all of a sudden and connect them to a higher power, whatever that is, universe, God, etc.,
Right.
all of a sudden they can see what their divine blueprint is and live their life to the fullest, expressing their gifts into the world. And so that's kind of the way that I work with clients of really that process of self-discovery.
Mm.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Again, over to you.
Yeah, no, it brings me to the point of, and I think, Alan, you kind of said it in a way, but it's helping people, maybe giving them a nudge just by something you say. I'm not saying face to face, of their potential. Because let's face it, the frequency of the world right now is crazy. Like it's crazy. It
Not
feels
my
like
world.
it's, yeah, it's just not, I mean, our smaller circle, but if you're talking larger circle, it's the frequency's way off. And
Yeah.
so how do we inspire, encourage people to be present, bring their full self, to wake up and start to bring their light into the world so that we can change the frequency? Because when people are living in their truth and spreading the things they're passionate about, it changes the whole frequency everywhere.
100%. I can actually answer that in a tactical way. With actual examples. Wow. Okay. So talk is meaningless to me. Like I don't even understand. Like this is what I love about Trish. Like we actually just execute. We're just doing stuff. Oh, let's do this. Okay, let's go. So if you have a gift, you know what it is, then do something with it. Like so like as an example, I'm meeting with partner for a leadership company. She's in Venice, Italy right now. I'm meeting with her today to build our business plan. And then started two AI music companies. Music is the fast track into someone's own heart. And then one of those companies, we have an amazing musician making those songs into real songs. It's really, and then my partners for those, they're very high level, amazing people. And meeting with the longtime manager of Aerosmith later today to discuss a collaboration with that. And then with this is like a scientific way of bringing like super high level high achievers who have not found their inner core, to really, as Trish said, to like really help them find their truest self. And then capital's important. Capital's important because capital is, with the right capital, is energy. So people who heal their inner self and then have the capital to really create something that transforms society. That's the way I I tactically do it. If I have to be around the right people who can make immediate change and then have the energy to actually do that.
Yeah.
So to simplify all that, one, and then again, Trish has this amazing gift for this. Find your true self, your purpose, your dharma, whatever that is. Okay, you know what it is, so do something about it, and then actually do it. And then like to me personally, like impacting a billion people and all that, like I've never understood that stuff. I've never understood like the quantifiable gain. I look at things more like metaphysically and like purposely. I'm like, well, here's your gift, do something with it to your highest level. Here's your gift, do something. Here's your gift, do something. So I think that's the way of doing it, is becoming aware of your gift and then to the utmost ability do something with that tactically that actually helps society. That would be my answer to that.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think, to add to that, I believe that each one of us has a frequency, right? I believe it's all based in frequency, and you have a choice what you're going to plug your frequency into. So if you plug into low vibrational people, energies,
Right.
politics, whatever it is, it's going to bring that frequency down. And so I believe that we each have a divine responsibility to raise our frequency. And, Alan, for you being the frequency of love and emitting that into all that you do, that alone has exponential impact, right? And so I think that it's important of where we choose to, vibe, so to speak.
Can I connect some dots here and then ask a question? So Justin, when we ask the question, says, well, people have their gifts. I'm not here to change them or give them advice or whatever.
No.
But there are a lot of people that would listen to this, and let's call a spade, but go, well, this is a little woo-woo for me. I'm a little, that's a little outside, what I grew up to be. Are we trying to, I say we collectively, trying to invite people into this world, because I think we'd all agree, certainly the four of us, that energy rules. But how do we to change the frequency of the world? People need to help do that. How do we do that so that we could impact more people in the world, as both of you are trying to do?
How do we bridge the gap? I think that for me, I have made a conscious decision that my medicine that I bring to the world is going to be something that's very relatable. And so, you see in the medicine space or psychedelic space, everyone's now becoming a shaman and having their own artistic, and on one hand, it's beautiful and there's a lot of beautiful medicine tribe, but to the masses, there's a lot of intimidation to entry there. And so I think when I work with clients, a lot of my clients are, highly functioning CEOs, execs, and they're wanting to really up level their life, but they realize, oh my gosh, I was abused in my childhood and I've never told anyone about this. And every time I get into a big project to bring my gift to the world, I sabotage myself and I don't understand why I'm doing that. And so I think for me, it's a matter of meeting people where they're at and not layering. I'm very cautious about how much woo-woo I bring into the conversation with my clients, because I know that I'll lose their ability to relate to the message.
Really brilliant. So it's more of an invitation through work that they'll discover. We'll call it the divine for the purposes of
Divine
this
bridge.
conversation, but it's an invitation to learn and to grow and to be curious. Is that fair?
Exactly. Yeah.
Love that.
And then I think once they start on the path, most recently I was working with a woman who is a CEO for a company in LA, and all of a sudden, she realized she has all of these behaviors that she didn't really understand. Why do I keep attracting narcissistic men? Why do I, etc. And then realizing, that was ingrained from childhood in these very nuanced ways with her mother of, you know, you're not good enough, you're not this. And so right at that inciting incident where she could make a choice point, she would sabotage, right? And so once that healing happened, now it's so fun because she calls me and it's like, I'm taking a course on shamanism and I'm blah, blah, blah. And they kind of find the magic on their own once they get through those barriers.
Love that.
And then all of a sudden, when they're plugged into that divine energy, they're like, what have I been doing my whole life? And then you can go into the deeper conversations about the cosmic and mystic.
That's so cool. Leanne?
I'm really interested in the music part of it, Justin, and what you're doing there. Can you just expand on that a little bit? Because it's frequency, it's everything, right?
Yeah, well, okay, let me turn off the woo-woo switch, and I'll turn on the human part. So music predates spoken communication by 10,000 years. So multiple articles on this proof. Human speaking started in Africa around 50,000 years ago. Currently the first instrument was found in a cave that's now Croatia. It was a bear leg bone with 4 holes drilled into it. So it was a flute, and that they dated that back to 60,000 years ago. So 10,000 years currently before we started speaking, we were playing music. And then the first thing that a child hears is the mother's heartbeat in utero. Boom, 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 boom. So it's beat, beat, beat. Okay. And with the music stuff, through Dark Night of the Soul or Spiritual Awakening, however you want to phrase that, I just started writing poems. And one of my friends who's connected to Garth Brooks, she's like, why don't you turn those poems into song lyrics? I'm like, oh, okay, sounds good to me. And then, so that was in November, around Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving. Just want to be clear on that, American Thanksgiving.
Oh,
And
bless you,
oh, got to know your audience, right? You have to actually care about other people, right? You have to really understand. But the Boxing Day, but the something like that. But the so you've got with the music, started writing those songs, and then plugged it into AI. And I listened to the first song is called Warrior Queen, which is actually interesting. Trish, you're definitely a warrior queen. I'll actually send you that song, Trish. It's you're oh man, you embody that song a lot. But and then I listened to it, and I mean, I just started crying because it was just so powerful. And my partner for that company, Eric, he's a great dude, Eric, and we started sending each other these songs. We're both born on April 10th, which is really interesting, and then we're doing a soft launch with the company April 10th. It's both of our birthdays, but and we both discovered that these songs were a fast track into your own heart, soul, and that you could create these things very, very quickly, 5-10 minutes. And what's actually interesting, it brings us full circle, is Trish was on our podcast, and the song she made, whatever Trish wants to share about it, but the song was, I mean, Eric and I call it a direct hit, like where it just goes right into your heart. It was so powerful. Like I was holding back tears because it was just beautiful. And then that community, it's called Corvia, Corvia. So Cor is heart and Via is path, heart path. which we're launching. That's what we're meeting with the Aerosmith band manager later today. It's basically a community where people can write these songs and as a fast track into their own heart. And people are like, well, who is this for? I'm like, well, anyone, like anyone who wants to be an artist. And then the second company, I haven't been able to announce it publicly yet because there's human rules and laws about AI and music, but essentially what that one is having human musicians take the songs where I wrote the lyrics for them or where others write. You have to write your own lyrics to market the songs. If AI writes them, you can't market them. So we're having human musicians create songs with that, and I got the first demo for that one. My partner for that company is a very, 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 very well-known musician who's that company will really change the world, but he votes for the Grammys and all that stuff. But that song, that's the first one's called Mind Valentine. That was that's being made into a real human song. So, and I apologize for the long-winded answer, but with the world becoming more fragmented and more isolated, these songs and this music is a way to really heal yourself and then create this massive healing community, which ties in perfectly to what Trish and I are building with the retreats.
You tell us more about the retreat. Leanne, did you have another question? Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just going to ask about the same thing about the retreat.
Well, so we're always connected as well. Tell us more about the retreats that you're doing and the work you're doing.
Yeah, so I've been working in the psychedelic space since 2017, and I really found my path into psychedelics through healing my own childhood trauma. And it became very clear in the early stages of my healing with these indigenous medicines that I was meant to work in this space and really be a steward to bring and facilitate healing for others. And so up until now, I've been hosting a few retreats a year. And then with the collaboration with Justin and our collective networks, really decided to expand that and grow a more consistent offering, and being rather ambitious. We're looking to do one a month in unique and indigenous healing places around the world. And so right now I'm in Bacalar. If anyone's ever been here, it is one of the most pristine, beautiful places. So we'll be hosting a retreat here coming soon. It's like crystal blue waters. And really, I take an approach of my background's in spiritual psychology. I studied under Gabor Mate, if you're familiar with him. Studied in a lot of different other trauma therapies. And really the way that I look at it is when I work with clients, I call it psychic surgery. I want to go in and get to the root of these core limiting beliefs that are keeping people stuck, right? And to really free them to live the life that they can live. So it's pretty exciting. Yeah.
I think one last question for me. So I'd like to tie some, again, from my learning, numerology and destiny.
Mm.
Can you, so we'll start with something light. Can you connect some dots for me on that? Because I've heard you guys say, well, that's my lot. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. Tell me about that connection between numerology and destiny, or is there one?
Go for it, Justin.
Sure, I'm happy to do that. And then before I forget, I put it in the chat. The song, just background with that song, it's called Lagoon. It was I asked Trish, I will answer your question, but I thought this would be valid based on your last question. But I asked Trish to tell me how she felt in Tulum and then send a video or photo of her at this location. And then I don't know how to explain it other than I can just feel her energy like very quickly. And it doesn't short circuit me like technology. It actually augments me. But so then I wrote that song. I don't know if you can play it for the audience, but it's you'll hear
You can
you'll
do
hear
it
how
first
powerful
thing.
it is. But okay, so then
Even
and
post.
then with numerology, Alan, you're a life path 3, so that's endless creativity, 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 creativity. And then Leanne, 8, even though strays a little bit, 8s are mostly very grounded and very good at making money overall. So that's a really good, if you have creativity with grounded making money energy, that's really good. I would say that's a good combination. Maybe that's why you've been partners for 25 years. And then all you do with numerology is you just add each individual number of your full birthday, and then you kind of simplify it. But if you just Google numerology calculator, but there's no logic in any of that. But what I've found is that for the most part, anyone who's evolved consciously in any capacity, they're like, well, that makes perfect sense. How did you know that? I go, I didn't know. It's just what it is. And I have found numerology and then human design are the two best ways of, like, when logic just goes out the window, of like understanding, if you want to call them assessments, they're really good assessments of understanding who you are at like a very core level. There are other good, I guess mostly human ones, like Kolbe, KOLB, or Strength Finders, or Enneagram's a good one. But like I found from like a higher spiritual level that human design and numerology are wonderful. And then from the destiny perspective, absolutely. Like I mean, if you're not a litmus test for people you serve, that's hypocrisy. So with Trish and I both being master numbers, which is very rare. Most people are 1 through 9. She's a 33, super evolved healer, duh. And then 11 is super evolved psychic, spiritual, wounded healer. Here we are. And so that is destiny. That's like this was destined to happen. I don't believe in randomness. I just don't. Things are just meant to happen. And then if Trish and I had aligned, oh, by the way, she was born on Christmas and I was born on Easter, so you can't make that up. But and then like if she and I had met 20 years ago, we wouldn't have been ready for this kind of thing. Even if we had met 20 months ago, we wouldn't have. Maybe even 20 weeks ago. Actually, probably not 20 weeks. So things are just destined to align the way they are. And then the key to really simplify all the questions, and then how Trish helps heal folks, that like if you're aware of that, that's the key. Just being aware of being the observer, not overthinking things, just feeling your own heart, your own soul, your own consciousness. I think that's well, I don't think that. I feel that's the most important thing, is being aware of it. And then Trish has this incredible ability to make people aware of that in the most loving way, which is a gift to be with her on this journey. Very grateful for that.
Thank you. I think the way that I look at it is that we all are on this earth to live out what I call our spiritual curriculums. And I do believe there's a divine orchestration, and numerology, sacred geometry, however you want to label it, can be a a compass to help guide. But I think something that's really important to note is that we all have free will. So you can have this design and this master plan and written in the stars or astrology or what have you. And we all are here to learn in this lifetime. So you can choose to stay in suffering, or you can choose to evolve and really live a life of freedom and joy. And as I like to call it, my life is pure magic. That doesn't mean that it doesn't come without hardships, but I'm divinely plugged in, that what I need is here, so long as I'm in right relationship and in that frequency to receive, right?
What a beautiful answer from both of you. Thank you. Leanne, anything else before we wrap up?
I was just going to say, I saw your face, Alan, when he said your creativity and my ability to make money, because actually, if you were to ask people or ask us, it would have been exactly the opposite of what you said, Justin. Opposite. My creativity and Alan's ability to make money, because if I get stuck in thinking about money, I that's where I get stuck. So, but I'm a neurodivergent 8. I don't know if that makes it.
Oh, so there are only 4 types of visionaries, only 4 types. So all I do is so I don't talk to business owner. Like it's too painful for me to talk about business because it's a mask. It's business is anxiety. So only 4 types of visionaries. One is ADD, ADHD. It's not a disorder. Sign of genius mislabeled by humans. 2 is autistic, Asperger's, whatever you want to call it. Basically, everyone I talk to is ADD. I mean, and then probably 30% of the folks I talk to are autistic. They're all artistic, but 3 is dyslexic, 30%. And then 4, to be a true visionary, you have to have high IQ and high EQ. You have to have both.
Yeah.
You have to have both. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Leanne, anything else before we wrap her up?
No, but it was just great connecting
Wow,
with.
what a gift. Yeah. Thank you so much for talking to everybody here, not just people who are aligned with where you are. I think it's helpful to invite people into this journey. And both of you did that. And if energy is real and you can feel it through screen, I could feel it through the screen. And so thank you for sharing your energies and your gifts. And I can't wait to see what's next because Justin, like you said, this isn't an accident.
No.
Yeah. We're gonna see you at one of our retreats, Alan and
We're going to be
Leanne.
connecting you with other people who are interested and aligned with your vision as well. So that outreach is causing this to come together, and what I am learning, I'm just going to let it flow and just be open to the possibilities.
And whatever
Amazing.
dates you want to give us, we can put them in the show notes too. So if you want to get that out there, we're happy to do that.
Well, and Justin, we'll do the music thing. We'll put it in post.
Okay.
So people can listen to that as well. I think it was beautiful. So I'm gonna just wish you all well. Stay on for a second. We're just going to stop the recording and then we'll continue our conversation. So thank you so much on behalf of both of us.